The overwhelming reaction to the outbreak of war is shock.
At the beginning, the soldiers were very ready to do their duty.
People want to put a brave face on as soldiers march to war. Families want to give support to fathers and sons and husbands who are going to war.
But without enthusiasm, with seriousness, they could not envision that it will drag on for 4 years and a half.
It starts as a war of the 19th century. They start with cavalry, they start with horses. Pretty soon, it's becoming clear that this war is going to be very, very different, since the advantage in this war is not with the invader, with the aggression, but with the defensive. They dig in. French dig in, Germans dig in even deeper, and the British dig in. It's a way of saving your soldiers.
One of the challenges that commanders have in this war is getting people to get out of their trenches, not go into them, precisely because they give safety.
The palace is lit by a candle, whose flame is as small as a mouse. Oh, tiny palace, where everything is muffled. Little palace of the thunder.
They tell me that you would like to hear something of what our boys are doing at the front. And although I'm only a youngster, as soldiers go, I've seen about as much fighting as is good for any man.
Life for the soldiers in the trenches was mainly, most of the time, very boring.
Took about an hour and a half to make a
Attacks are being launched at dawn. At night, and particularly in the morning, we find warfare going on.
It's a nocturnal activity, it's a troglodyte activity, and they share those dugouts with rats increasingly, with lice which multiply.
Lice, rats, fleas, barbed wire,
corpses, underground caves, artillery, liquor,
shells,
bombs, bullets,
corpses. That's what war is.
We're here because we're here, because we're here, because we're here.
In the trenches, we find ordinary soldiers. We find farmers, we find workers, we find society at large. On the Western Front, in end of 1914, there are more than 12,000 miles trenches alone for the Allied forces. 25,000 miles of trenches for the Allied and the German armies. And these trenches run more than 400 miles from the North Sea to the Swiss border. For 4 years, more or less, there's no move at all. They move forwards a few kilometers and back a few kilometers, but once entrenched in 14, they stay more or less where they are.
There is a stalemate.